Throughout innumerable existences, the function of your sense faculty of sight has caused you to yearn for and become attached to various kinds of forms. Because of your attachments to various forms, you are passionate about the smallest of matters. Because of your passions for the smallest of matters, your body is derived from a woman. Wherever you take birth, in life after life, you are attracted and attached to all kinds of forms. Forms spoil your eyes, and you become a slave to emotion and passion. Forms thus make you wander throughout the three realms. Such impairment renders you blind, so that you can perceive nothing. Now, take the comprehensive Great Vehicle Sutras to heart. In these sutras, it is taught that forms and embodiments of the Buddhas of the 10 directions never cease to exist. You must now be able to recognize whether or not this is true. The dysfunction of your sense faculty of sight does you great harm. Heed what we are saying. Take refuge in the Buddhas and in Sakyamuni Buddha. Regarding the impurities and faults of your sense faculty of sight, say this: May I be cleansed and be made to become pure by means of the Dharma water of the profound insight of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. After saying these words, the practitioner must pay homage to the Buddhas of the 10 directions, and, directing his or her heart and mind towards Sakyamuni Buddha and the Great Vehicle Sutras, speak again, saying, I now recognize that heavy impurities obstruct, cloak, defile, and cloud my sense faculty of sight. I am blinded and can perceive nothing. May the Buddha, with great mercy and compassion, protect me. O Bodhisattva All-embracing Goodness, aboard the ship of Dharma, in company with countless Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions, universally ferrying all living beings, out of compassion and sympathy for me, please accept my way of amending myself of the unwholesome and harmful encumbrances of my sense faculty of sight. The practitioner must say this 3 times, prostrate him or herself on the ground, and maintain right mindfulness of the great vehicle, neither forgetting nor forsaking it. This is called the method of self-amendment regarding impurities of the sense faculty of sight. One who calls upon the Buddhas by name, burns incense, scatters flowers, generates a great vehicle consciousness, hangs banners, flags, and canopies, speaks to the faults and afflictions of the eye, and undertakes self-amendment for his or her impurities, will behold Sakyamuni Buddha in this present world, and innumerable Buddhas emanated from him as well. He or she will not fall into bitter conditions for countless kalpas of time. Through the affirmation and the power of the great vehicle, such a person will constantly be among and accompany all of the bodhisattvas that possess dharma-grasping empowerments. Producing such a focus of mind is the effecting of right mindfulness. Focusing on other things is described as aberrant thought. This is said to be the condition of the first stage with regard to the sense faculty of sight. After purifying the sense faculty of sight, the practitioner must further internalize and recite the Great Vehicle Sutras, and at the 6 specified times of day and night, kneel formally and undertake self-amendment. Additionally, the practitioner must speak these words: Why is it that I can now see only Sakyamuni Buddha and Buddhas emanated from him, but not the stupa of abundant treasures Buddha, the reliquary of his entire body? The stupa of abundant treasures Buddha is always present. It does not cease to exist. I cannot see the stupa because my eyes are yet faulty and impaired. After saying these words, the practitioner must do further self-amendment. After 7 days have passed, the stupa of abundant treasures Buddha will emerge from the ground. Sakyamuni Buddha will then open the door of the stupa with his right hand, and abundant treasures Buddha, fully engaged in the specialized focus of mind regarding his universal manifestation in any figure or form, will be perceived. Rays of brilliant light, as numerous as all the grains of sand in the Ganges River, flow out from every pore of his body, and 100,000 myriad kotis of manifested Buddha forms are present in every ray of light. The practitioner will become joyful when this condition appears. Then he or she must walk around the stupa while offering praise in verse. After 7 circuits have been completed, Abundant Treasures Tathagata will praise the Dharma successor with a great voice, saying, "Truly, you now capably practice in accordance with the great vehicle, faithfully following all-embracing goodness and doing self-amendment for the sense faculty of sight. As the result of this act, I come to you as your proof." Having spoken thus, he will then say in commendation, "Well done, Sakyamuni Buddha. Well done. You skillfully expound the great Dharma, pouring down the great Dharma's rain to bring all manner of muddled living beings to clarity." The practitioner, having seen the stupa of Abundant Treasures Buddha, must then turn again to All-Embracing Goodness Bodhisattva, place his or her palms together, pay homage, and say, "Great teacher, teach me the way of self-amendment for my faults." All-Embracing Goodness Bodhisattva will respond, saying, "Throughout many kalpas, the function of your sense faculty of hearing has caused you to chase after and follow external sounds. When you hear wonderful sounds, your mind develops infatuation and attachment. When you hear unwholesome sounds, 108 kinds of delusive worldly passions arise to do you harm. Adverse conditions are the consequences reaped from such a dysfunctional ear, and your constant hearing of unwholesome sounds gives rise to numerous complications. Because you hear things contrary to reality, you fall into bitter conditions, or into faraway realms where there are wrong views, and where the Dharma is not heard. You now internalize and keep faith with the great vehicle, the treasury of an ocean of beneficial effects. You see the Buddhas in the 10 directions by reason of this cause. The stupa of Abundant Treasures Buddha appears to you as proof. Accordingly, you must express your errors and faults yourself and amend yourself of impurities." Then, having heard these words, the practicer must again place palms together, cast his or her body upon the ground, and speak thus: "Fully enlightened, world-honored one, manifest and bear witness for me that the comprehensive sutras are the core of mercy and compassion. May you commune with me and hear my words. Throughout many kalpas, up to my existence at this point, my sense faculty of hearing has caused me to become deluded and to become attached to the sounds I hear, just as glue adheres to straw. The poisons of delusive worldly passions are stirred up whenever I hear unwholesome sounds, and I become deluded and attached to them unceasingly everywhere. Being around these hollow sounds exhausts my mental functions, and I fall into the 3 unwholesome realms. My awareness of this is now awakened for the first time. I face the world-honored one to make acknowledgement and amend myself." Having completed self-amendment, the practitioner will see Abundant Treasures Buddha emit a great bright golden-colored light. Shining everywhere in the eastern direction and extending to worlds in all of the 10 directions as well, it highlights innumerable Buddhas whose bodies are the color of pure gold. In the skies in the eastern direction, these words will be richly intoned. "Here is a Buddha, a world-honored one, whose name is Splendid Virtue. Also here are innumerable Buddhas emanated from him, sitting in the lotus posture on lion seats at the base of jewel trees. All of these world-honored ones are engaged in the specialized focus of mind regarding their universal manifestation in any figure or form, and they are saying these words of praise. Well done, you of good intent. Well done. You are now reciting and internalizing the Great Vehicle Sutras. What you are taking to heart is the realm of Buddhas. After these words are spoken, all-embracing goodness Bodhisattva will once again expound a method of self-amendment for the practitioner's sake. In your previous existences, throughout innumerable kalpas, because you yearned for sweet sense, in every situation your evaluations of what you discerned were based upon attachment, and you fell into the cycle of births and deaths, or samsara. Accordingly, you must now contemplate the foundation of the great vehicle. The foundation of the great vehicle is the true reality of all things. After hearing these words, the practitioner must cast his or her body to the ground and undertake further self-amendment. Having done so, the practitioner must then speak thus: Nama Sakyamuni Buddha, Nama Stupa of Abundant Treasures Buddha, Nama all Buddhas emanated from Sakyamuni Buddha in all of the 10 directions. Having said this, he or she must universally pay homage thusly to the Buddhas in the 10 directions. Nama Splendid Virtue Buddha of the East, and all Buddhas emanated from him. As if seeing each one of them with his or her own eyes, the practitioner should, with reverent thoughts, make offerings of incense and flowers. When finished paying homage, the practitioner must then formally kneel, place his or her palms together, and give praise to the Buddhas with a variety of verses. After praising them, the practitioner must speak to matters of the 10 harmful karmic actions and do self-amendment for his or her impurities. Having completed self-amendment, the practitioner should speak these words: In previous existences, throughout innumerable kalpas, I longed for sense, flavors, and contacts, and I produced many impurities. Throughout uncountable existences ever since, having such causes has resulted in my taking on various unsavory forms, being in hells and among hungry spirits and beasts, and being in faraway realms where there are wrong views. Today, I avow harmful karmic acts as these. Taking refuge in the Buddhas, masters of the correct Dharma, I acknowledge my impurities and I amend myself of them. When the self-amendment process is completed, the practitioner must again internalize and recite the Great Vehicle Sutras without laziness of body or mind. Through the power of the Great Vehicle, an ethereal voice will declare to the Dharma successor, You must now face the Buddhas of the 10 directions and praise and give voice to the Great Vehicle. Before the Buddhas, relate your faults yourself. The Buddha Tathagatas are your compassionate fathers. You must yourself declare the unwholesome and harmful karmic acts produced by your sense faculty of speech. This sense faculty of speech musters characteristics of undesirable karma: lies, flattery, deprecating words, duplicity, defamation and slander, praise of wrong views, and use of useless words. In the manner of such many and multiple varieties and kinds of harmful karmic acts, it instigates conflicts and confusion and asserts that Dharma is not Dharma. I now amend myself of all impurities such as these. After saying these words before the heroes of the world, the practitioner must cast him or herself upon the ground and universally pay homage to the Buddhas of the 10 directions. The practitioner must then kneel erectly on both knees, place palms together, and say, The troubles and faults of this tongue are innumerable and limitless. The thorns of harmful karmic causes grow from the sense faculty of speech. Estrangement from correct discourse on the Dharma begins with this tongue, and thus does this unwholesome tongue destroy seeds of beneficial effects. It forcefully discourses on many matters that have no meaning. Its praise of wrong views is like stoking their fires, thereby intensifying the flames that harm living beings. It is like something that poisons and brings death with no outward signs. The detrimental, adverse, dire consequence of all this is to fall into bitter conditions for 100 or 1,000 kalpas. I sink into a great hell because of deceitful speech. I now take refuge in the Buddhas of the southern direction and avow my very grave faults. When the practitioner affects this mindfulness, a voice will fill the air. There is a Buddha in the southern direction whose name is Sandalwood Virtue. This Buddha also has innumerable Buddhas emanated from him, all of whom expound the great vehicle that destroys and eliminates impurities and faults. As for your impurities, you should now face the innumerable Buddhas of the 10 directions, the greatly compassionate world-honored ones. Avow your very grave faults and sincerely amend yourself. After these words have been spoken, the practitioner must cast him or herself onto the ground and pay homage to the Buddhas again. At this time, the Buddhas will send forth rays of bright light that illuminate the practitioner's body, causing the practitioner to become spontaneously joyful in body and mind, and to bring forth great mercy and compassion pervasively in thoughts of all things. The Buddhas will then extensively expound ways of great compassion and benevolence for the practitioner's benefit. Furthermore, they will teach the practitioner to use kind words and to follow the 6 ways of harmony and respect. Hearing these teachings and commands, the practitioner's heart will overflow with joy, and he or she will then fully internalize and master them without laziness or pause. An ethereal voice will again fill the air, intoning thus: You must now amend both body and mind. The body, by killing, stealing, and behaving licentiously, and the mind, by conceiving various unwholesome things, produce the 10 harmful karmic actions as well as the 5 grievous acts. Moreover, their monkey-like and glue-like attachments to things everywhere thoroughly permeate all of the 6 sense faculties. All of the karmic actions of these 6 faculties, their branches, twigs, flowers, and leaves, extend fully throughout the 3 realms, the 25 states of existence, and all places where beings take birth. And they function to facilitate ignorance, aging, death, and others of the 12 factors that cause suffering. You cannot but be immersed in the 8 improper practices and the 8 conditions in which it is difficult to see a Buddha. You must now amend yourself of unwholesome and harmful karmic acts such as these. After hearing these words, the practitioner should then inquire of the voice in the air, At what place may I now practice the way of self-amendment? The ethereal voice will then immediately reply, saying, Sakyamuni Buddha is Vairocana, the one who is present in all places. Where this Buddha abides is called perpetual tranquil light, where perpetuity is perfectly achieved, where the perfect truth of self is constituted, where perfect purity casts off the aspects of existence, where perfect happiness is no longer a characteristic that occupies body and mind, where phenomena are no longer perceived as having or not having aspects, where likewise there is serene liberation as well as perfect wisdom. As these are features of the ever-abiding Dharma, you must accordingly contemplate the Buddhas of the 10 directions.